Fucking tired of it.
Looks good though.
Which part?
Well, the things you're putting up everywhere,
Yeah,
AI.
well,
Huh?
something. Here we are. Which part?
Well,
We're live.
we're live.
We're live.
We're oh wow. Okay, so we were talking last week a little bit about hypnosis, and like I would like to say a few things about it. It's like people are afraid of it. Some people, not all people, but we're in hypnosis
Oh
have to.
yeah, we're talking about hypnosis today. All right, get me out of my trance. I
Well,
forgot. We said that last
wait,
week.
that's what you said last week, so I just
Here we are.
in. Right. So since we're live already, I'm gonna
Let me change that in the notes.
yeah. So the thing is, a lot of people, actually a lot of people, and I'm not saying all, but a lot of people are misled or afraid of hypnosis. But we actually go in hypnosis a lot of times. When you just go in daydreaming, if you ever daydream, that's a form of hypnosis. When you ever watched a movie, you watched a movie and cried or laughed or anything, and you got involved in the movie, those are actors and that's not real life. So, but we get emotional and we even cry at movies and we're in a trance there. If you ever drove your car and you got home somehow and you didn't remember the path you took, but you still got home, a lot of times we go into hypnosis during when driving. We're so uh, focused. Where a lot of people are on the phone. And they just get home automatically in a sense because their unconscious took over. So we go into hypnosis all the time. If you've ever seen a big bruise on your leg or arm or something, you're like, how did I get that? That's another form. That's anesthesia. Basically, you didn't feel it because you were so focused on whatever you were doing, it didn't matter the pain, because you whatever you were doing, uh, it didn't it didn't affect you enough to stop and go, oh my God, I need to do something about this. If you ever say, I can't find my keys. Okay. And I'm sure somebody said that in their lifetime. I can't find my keys. I can't find my keys. And they're looking everywhere and they're looking even at the table, but they say they uh, can't find them. And then they ask their wife or husband and say, hey, I can't find my keys. And they say, what do you mean? They're right there on the table. What? It's because you said you couldn't find him. Your unconscious said, well, he doesn't need to find him since he said it couldn't. Let's not even bother with it. And that's another form. That was anesthesia.
You got it over there?
And I'm trying to think that's called because I'm just going off cuff right now. But anesthesia was when you didn't feel it, but amnesia. So you gave yourself amnesia by saying I couldn't find uh, the keys. Whoa! Might have just gone to hypnosis. Okay, and so usually we go into hypnosis in and out all day anyway. So that's one myth. Another myth is that you can be put in hypnosis and not come out. And it's never ever happened that somebody's been put in hypnosis and never come out of hypnosis because you don't get stuck there. Uh, Worst case scenario, you just fall asleep and then when you wake up, you'd come out because some people don't want to come out. They get so relaxed in hypnosis that they don't choose to come out. So that has happened where people didn't want to come out of it, but they eventually do anyway. So, uh, but also hypnosis you can do for yourself or uh, throw in some more. If anything you got to say there, I was just going off cuff because I really hadn't thought about it till we got here today.
Yeah? Is that
Yeah,
how it
well,
is?
we studied enough of it, didn't we?
I was like, man, I thought this guy could talk 3 hours about hypnosis. I was like, just let him go. All right, maybe that
It was more like
has
the
the coffee kicked in yet?
no, I just made it. I was just making it.
Okay, so before we get too crazy into hypnosis, it's best to like understand psychology a little bit because hypnosis is mixed in with psychology, but it's like what's the right blend, right? Like how does like psychology mix in with hypnosis? So the first thing I'd like to say is that all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. Like no one's going to put you into hypnosis unless you agree to go into hypnosis because there's all these different types of hypnosis. You may go to a hypnosis stage show and you're like, "Oh my God, that person's jumping around like a chicken." Well, maybe that person wanted to jump around like a chicken and they were just waiting for an excuse for someone to tell them to do that. Or maybe they like the attention. That's why when you go to a stage hypnosis show, it's up to the hypnotist, right, to be able to kick out anybody that's not going to play along with the game. And it's also pre-framed as in like, well, if you're following along to these instructions, you'll be able to do anything you want in life because you can follow the simple instructions that are laid out in front of you to get to where you want to go. And that's just one thing about hypnosis. And before we get too crazy, right? Like I'll go back to the psychology part. Like before you understand what hypnosis is, like self-hypnosis for hypnotherapy, right? It's all about helping people get out of their own way. So how does that work, right? So when it comes to the conscious mind, you can only see 5 bits of information plus or minus two, or is it 7 bits of information plus or minus two? And in order to understand that, it's like when your conscious mind is in the world, right? You can only have, let's say you have 9 tools to your disposal that you can get something done in front of you. And then you're in a loop all the time and you're not getting like the results that you want because you're using the same 9 tools. Now, why would you use hypnosis? You go to a hypnotherapist or self-hypnosis, however you want to use, is that you're able to go into the subconscious mind that remembers everything and then you change out the tools that you have. And you're like, Scott, man, what are you talking about? Okay. So in reality, you have millions, we'll just say to give it a number, you have millions of bits of information coming at you. You get the colors, you've got everything that you have within your 5 senses, what you feel, what you see, and hear, right? So right now, if I asked you to think about your left pinky toe and what does it feel like? Well, now you're 9 bits of tools that you have available at your conscious are now thinking about your left pinky toe because I brought your attention to it. Now, how does this work with a hypnotist, right? Or a hypnotherapist? You go to the hypnotherapist and they help unwind whatever loop that you're in. Because again, you're not going to be able to get the results by somebody else fixing you, magic wand, here, you're fixed. No, it's helping guide you out of the way out of your own way. It's like you're in a maze, but you don't realize you're in a maze because you're always getting the same results because you haven't changed out your tools. Or talk to somebody that could help guide you through and say, oh, right, it's okay that you're getting this because if you're in motion, then you're able to fix whatever's going wrong, right? So, but it's not like a hypnotist knows or has all the answers. It's more like we're helping to unlock whatever tunnel vision that you have that you not realize that you do have because there's always different ways to look at things. And you can get this out of people in just regular conversation. I remember talking to a photographer and he's like, hey, I really want to have groups of people going out and doing different tasks while I sit at home and do the office. Literally, while I was talking to him, that's what was happening. Like he had different people going out and he didn't even realize that was going. And sometimes it's just as simple as that. Being able to focus on what you're looking towards with a hypnotherapist would be able to help out. And again, the hypnotherapist isn't a doctor or something like that. They just say, hey, look, this is what you keep doing. You ever thought about changing that? That kind of thing. And then what is hypnosis? Like, again, your subconscious mind, again, back to the bits of information, you're getting millions of bits of information coming in right now. And your subconscious mind is collecting all of that because it's, just wants the best for you. And then, well, is your conscious mind through whatever scope you're looking through, seeing it perfectly or the way that it needs to be seen in order for you to get whatever your desired outcome is. And that's again, just one angle of all the different things what hypnosis is, right? And you can bring yourself into your own hypnosis by just working on your breathing and concentrating on that because that's the only thing that's in the moment, right? Is your breathing. Everything else is just kind of up for grabs because you can focus on your breathing and that can calm you down because that's the only thing that's current, that to, help blanket all the different distractions that could be around you. And that's just a few things. What do you got?
Well, also the hypnotist is basically bypassing your critical factor to give you more suggestibility for the things you want. So a lot of times you'll come to a hypnotist with the things you're working on and what you want, And what we do, we help you get, like you were saying, the blocks out of the way, and basically open up your mind, your unconscious mind, to help yourself, help the person in front of you to uh, realize the things that are stuck. A lot of times we don't even have to know what's stuck to help somebody out of it. So when we open up the unconscious mind, like you said, those thousands of bits of information that are embedded in there, and you're only thinking of nine, like you said, if
You only have the capacity. You only have the capacity to be able to see all these different bits of information. And it goes back to how'd you get that bruise on your leg? Well, it's because your bits of nine information what focused on that tree that you ran into. You were focused on something else. Just like my daughter. Like you can only focus on so many things at one time or be aware of whatever your surrounding is. She was running around yesterday, wasn't running what was in front of her. She was running sideways and ran into a pole. Like because maybe that'll realign what bits of information you're using to navigate through the world. And the funniest thing is, like, your subconscious wants the best for you, right? It wants to keep you alive. It wants to make sure that you're happy. Well, maybe not happy, but it wants to make sure that you're surviving. So you have to ask yourself, like, what can I do to make this better? And then your subconscious mind will point you in different directions because it wants the best for you. And then that's another thing too, parts of negotiation. Like a lot of people don't realize that they have different ego states. And then in hypnosis, you can bring those more to life and then talk to them more, like, and just play out whatever scenarios there are so that you can, come up with different outcomes. And is it okay that, like, okay, this didn't happen the way I wanted, but what happens after that? Like, okay, that didn't work. What else can you try? Or is it the end of the world if that didn't work? Or maybe that wasn't supposed to work, so you could go to the next thing, whatever it is. And hypnosis is just a way for you to settle down, realign your chi, I guess, and then work towards happiness or whatever is fulfilling, or get out of whatever situation they are. And again, are you focused on desired outcome or running away from fear? Or is it a combination of both? It's probably best to look forward than it is to look backwards. That's why what do they say? That's why the windshield is bigger than the rearview mirror.
But I haven't heard that one. Can you explain that one? The windshield's bigger than the rear view mirror.
Yeah. I mean, it's always good to have a rearview mirror so you can see what happened in the past.
Okay.
But if you have a larger windshield, it's larger. Like you have more things in front of you, then it's more beneficial to look what's in front of you than to look what's
What's in the
behind you.
back? Yeah.
That's why the windshield's bigger than the rearview mirror.
Okay. Well, I learned something today. That's good.
I do what I can. I saw it on a Hallmark card, I think.
What they say is the good thing about the past, it's in the past. What's There's so many things you can throw in with hypnosis too. Again, you were talking about happiness, but
You can use it for pain management. You can use it for. They've done surgeries with just hypnosis. I mean, how powerful is hypnosis? This is as powerful as you want it to be. And then also there's somnambulist. What's that? Well, that's somebody who really can go into hypnosis faster than somebody else. And if I had to guess, it's probably because they have a bigger critical factor. They're like more cynical. And if you've ever heard something, oh, you'll never hypnotize me. Well, great. Who'd want to? You know, um, you can't be if you don't want to be, right? Or maybe you're just too grounded in your ways and that you don't want to see that there's other possibilities out there, or this does work for people to get through reality, to have a better imagination so that they can see something brighter than where they're at right now. It's all depending on the person, and they can use hypnosis for many things. Like you can put yourself in a different state if you have to go on stage and talk to people, or maybe you just want to chill out and then block things out so you can have some downtime. And it's whatever you make it. Your reality is what you make of it.
Well,
Only thing you want to ask yourself is if you're stuck doing the same thing over and over again, getting the same results. Well, what can you do differently to jump the curve or get out of the groove or hop back into a different groove. And then that ties in threshold. And then if you are in a certain spot, like how much more energy are you willing to put towards getting into a different spot? Because if you spent so much time in one place, like realizing that you're not going to be able to, just hop into another place overnight is another, realization. Oh, look, now I do have all these tools. What else can I do with them? Is what it becomes. And it's not like, well, I don't know. I guess some people, could change overnight. Like if you become a viral sensation, all of a sudden your life's changed. I think it was like that way for Tony Robbins, right? Like he was like, oh, I just had this one moment and I'm just going to change. Or, uh, oh, what's his face? Iron Man. He he was in a bad state, going to court, doing all these things, doing all these drugs, and then all of a sudden he just said, "Well, I'm done with this. I want to be the best actor, that I can be." And then he became Iron Man. But he changed. He just changed his state because he was at threshold and said, "I'm done with this, druggy lifestyle or whatever. I'm going to do something else." And then he just did it.
Let's go with what is threshold. Basically, something has to change. It has to be you, and it has to be now. So a lot of people will come in to a hypnotist and say, "Change me," and that's not how it works. A hypnotist helps you help yourself, and if you're not willing to do the work and you're not willing to change and all this stuff, because no, the only way people can actually change you is if they have leverage over you. Now, whatever that leverage is, that's the only way you can make anyone change without them wanting to happen. So you can't change people. So if they don't want to change, they're not going to. And most of the time, like he was saying, is basically if you don't want to be hypnotized, it's going to be so hard to hypnotize you because when you come to a hypnotist, they're working together to get the thing you want, whatever that is. So you'll come in with a list of what you want and why you want it and all that. And then when you come in and we talk and work on it, we take those blocks that's keeping you away from that because we're opening up your mind. You could do this today, even before you go to bed. If you ask yourself, why am I so good or why am I so bad? No matter what you ask yourself, your unconscious is going to work on coming up with an answer to it. So that's why we always say when you're asking yourself stuff, ask a positive thing instead of the negative. If you ask why I'm so ugly all night long, it'll say why you're so ugly, whatever. And then in the middle of the night or even the next day, you'll go, oh my God. So that's because you've asked yourself, I'm sure that's happened to most people that just out of the blue, you get the answer to something. That's because your unconscious has been working on it ever since you kind of ask yourself about it or somebody else. And it might be even a name that you went into amnesia because you didn't remember somebody's name, and about 30 minutes later you go, oh, that's his name. It's because sometimes you say I can't remember his name and you don't because you said you can't. But haven't you had that happen to you and then you remembered the guy's name you were wanting to find out after you gave yourself a little time? No.
Yes, of
Okay.
course. So I had ChatGPT give you 10 topics to go off of. We'll start with first one. Hypnosis is focused attention.
Yes. Basically, focusing on the more you focus on something, the more you find of it. Sorry about that. So the more you find of it. So we focus on, and the more direct focus, it knocks out all that other noise. So we're focusing on whatever you wanted to focus on, and we're opening up, bypassing the critical factor that says, no, no, you can't do this, and opening up suggestibility for a different way. So now we can open it up and focus on what we want and not all that's other clutter that's give me your best example. So what do you
My
think?
best example of hyper focus, well, basically, how in tune are you with your own thoughts? Like, can you shrink them? Can you make them larger? Can you cut out any noise outside of whatever the desired outcome is? This would work pretty good with future pacing, but we also do time lapse right backwards to find out any mistakes that you would consider mistakes and then change them into learning lessons. So hyper focus is basically what is the real issue and asking the proper questions to get down to the bottom of it so that you can understand it better and then be able to move past it while still keeping the learnings of whatever happened, right? And then being able to apply those learning experiences towards future goals. So sometimes people get really frustrated because of all this noise and all this different things that are happening, and especially people that have that haven't really categorized properly their past experiences. So again, what is an experience, right? Something that you have capitalized as and start point, middle of whatever happened, right? Whatever definition that you gave it, right? And then of course the end point, because is it really a memory? Because it's always a continuum, right? So you basically gave something a definition, or maybe a bunch of experiences a definition, and then maybe you haven't categorized them right, or maybe found a different way to look at them so that you can build confidence and of course move forward from however you categorized those experiences, plus valued yourself from those experiences. And I find that that kind of leads into the NLP stuff, but I like conversationally going over it. I mean, hypnosis, I guess, can do things faster. But the way my mind works is that I like to do educational stuff, and what I'm finding is people don't care so much about the educational part rather than just the end results. Like, I want to feel better. Okay, do this. And instead of like explaining why that works. Anyway, hyper focus. The next one on the list is that you're always in hypnosis. Basically, someone that says, "Oh, you can't hypnotize me," is because you're too happy in the whatever hypnotized state that you're in that you don't want to leave, or be shown any contrary evidence of how you depict your reality. If you've ever looked at your phone and just kept scrolling and scrolling, death scroll, right? That's hypnosis, like what Jeff was saying earlier, driving and then not realizing, oh yeah, I guess I'm driving right now, or looking at the time and be like, oh wow, like, and since I didn't see the sunset in the casino, like I don't know how long I've been in here. Like, you have no concept of time if you're focused or hypnotized or zoomed into whatever you're doing inside of a casino, because the light in there never changes.
You might have heard you're in the zone. You're in hypnosis when you're in the zone too. You might go to your desk and like 6 hours later, you think it's only like been an hour or two, but it's almost at the end of the day because you got in the zone. And the zone is kind of where it's not too hard, but it's not too easy. It's basically you're in flow too. In the zone, flow, these are all different statements. In both of those places, we're in flow. You're in a hypnotized state, flowing through life. And that's a good place to be in the zone or in flow because you can get more stuff done. And there you go, is where that focus attention is, that you're at your desk and you're working on this. And then, it's almost at the end of the day and it's like, wow. And to find more happiness is to also find things that get you into the flow, basically.
Yeah, just like my studio, there's no windows here. I could lose a whole entire day
Yeah.
just working on different projects.
So that happens
Anyway,
a
being in the
lot.
zone.
Yeah.
So also two other things which I think these next two kind of go hand in hand, like you don't lose control under hypnosis, and also hypnosis doesn't really happen without consent, right? Like it's a back and forth, and it's like you have to agree to be in hypnosis or follow along with what the hypnotist is saying.
A lot of times a hypnotist will say something like this: do you want to be hypnotized? And then, do you want to be hypnotized? When people come to my office or something, I'll have them sign, the reasons why they want to be hypnotized and that they want to be hypnotized by me. And then they'll sign it basically because I want them to understand that. And that's
Oh,
the
and if you have
process.
them write out why they want to be hypnotized, then they know what they're working on, and then you know
Yeah.
how to
And then
guide
I
them
can
along.
go in and help them find what they're working on. And the other one is you, most of the time, a hypnotist will ask you, do you want to be hypnotized by me? And they say yes. And then that's a placid contract, basically a verbal contract between you and the person, the subject in front of you that you're helping out. and that gives that opens up their unconscious mind to let because like you said, if they don't want to be hypnotized, they're probably not going to be hypnotized by you. And also, if yeah, if somebody's trying to put mind control on you or something, it's probably never going to work like that. What was the other thing? I got sidetracked
Oh,
there.
with consent, or you're always in, or with consent, or you don't lose control. Basically,
Right. The
you're
control
not going
thing
to do
is
anything past your identity.
right. And so another thing is a lot of people will say, "Oh, you're going to tell me all your secrets." And it's not true. The thing is that you will only do, like when they say they go up on stage and they do all this weird stuff, it's usually because they wanted to do some of that stuff and have an excuse to do it. But they're not going to tell you your secrets, and they're not going to do anything under hypnosis that they wouldn't regular do anyway. So you don't really have to worry about that. So a lot of people are like, "You're going to do mind control, man. I'm going to walk around and do all this terrible stuff," and that that's not going to happen. Not when you go to a hypnotist who's going to help you, who's a legit hypnotist. You know. So go ahead.
It also says over here, not sure what number this is, but it says the subconscious runs the show. About 90 to 95% of behavior is subconscious habits, beliefs, and emotional reactions. The conscious mind just takes the credit.
Right. So what happens because right when you were saying the 7 ± 2 bits of information every second. Okay, so it's always coming in. It's our unconscious can take in multiple millions of different things coming in at once, but our conscious mind doesn't. So it has so much more information. So we're running our bodies and minds mostly by our unconscious mind. For instance, you don't have to, when you get in a car, if you've already learned how to, you don't even have to look at the brakes or everything. You know where everything is. That's your unconscious. And your unconscious is actually running your heartbeat and your movements and everything you've ever seen. So you've got the amygdala shooting off. Like if you put your hand near a fire, your amygdala will shoot off, and before you touch the fire, usually your hand will pop away from it because your unconscious takes over because it knows. So your amygdala shoots off, and that's your unconscious when danger comes around. So your unconscious is always looking after to save you. It's not necessarily uh, making you happy. That's a learned skill. So I'm a happiness coach. So basically, you can learn how to be happy by being thankful, looking at the bright side, all this, thousands of little things. But your unconscious is there to save your life. It doesn't care. It's doing the primals. It's trying to give you food. It's trying to keep you safe. And that's why self-talk is so important. If you said, this is an example, it's really bad, but it's true. You said, "Oh, it's going to kill me to go to work." And if you said that and your unconscious believed that that's what you said and it believed it, it'll find out anyway. It'll break your leg. It'll have you trip. It'll do anything to keep you from going to work because it doesn't want you dead. So you got to watch what you're saying. Self-talk does matter. So when you would come, like to me, if you came to me, I would do a lots of different techniques to get you where you want to go. Well, earlier we were going, bringing NLP in it. We were going to break down what you came in for, because a lot of people, when they come in, most of the time, they're coming in thinking it's this what they need help with, and it's not. Okay, so they think it's this problem, but it's not. So what we do with
I
the
could just
mental
get my
model,
boss to
yeah.
change how they thought about me.
So we break it down. And a good way to break down something like that for yourself is just ask you these questions in a row. Go, what would that do for you? So, what would that matter? So, when you say, what do you want? And then what's that going to do for you? Because, like a Tony Robbins would say, I want more money to throw you a quarter. There you go. You got some more money. He said, be more specific. And how much money do you need or whatever? And then the next thing is, what will that money do for you? Money's just paper or a coin. It's really nothing. The money, what will it do for you? They might say, well, I want the money so I can buy a house. Okay, why would a house be good for? Well, I want my family to be more comfortable. We're living in a car. Okay, I can understand that. What else? What would that do for you? Well, my family would be happier. And then they just keep on going back to that they're really worried about their family. So now we know that we want to work on what's going to help their family. So, and then we would give them suggestions like, it's going to be easier and easier each and every day to get up because you have the love for your family, and that's just going to motivate you to get you where you want to go. When people come into us and they say, we'll usually do on the SUDS level, suggestive units of distress. What is your problem worth? If they come in, I'm smoking, per se that, and they say, well, on scale of 1 to 10, what would your stress level be? And they say, well, 5, because I kind of want to smoke, but I don't. And we would say, well, you don't want to quit that bad, so come in when it's an 8 or a 9 or more, because we can't make you. You have to have your own reasons why you want this. We're not here to give you your reasons. You have to come with those because we don't know. We're not you. Everything ever happened to you is where you're at today. All we're doing is coming in and helping you help yourself. That's what a hypnotist will do, help you help yourself by putting these things aside that's got you stuck and opening up new possibilities so you can find your own answer. Because if I tell you what you should, must do, ought to do, then it puts the responsibility on me. But we don't do that. We put the responsibility back on you, and you come up with the reasons, and we help you come up with the reasons why you want it for yourself. That's why breaking down what is that going to do for you. And then a lot of times we'll bring in NLP with hypnosis, and we'll say, the well-formed outcome. We go over this almost every 2 or 3 weeks. We say, well-formed outcome. What do you want? Why do you want it? Can you do? You have the resources, and a lot of times you will come to a hypnotist to help you get those resources to open up those when you're stuck. And there's all kinds of other methods with NLP. We can do that by framing or throwing it in the past. There's all kinds of things we can use, like tapping and the art. What is it? The art. Anyway, rim. Sorry.
REM.
Yeah, because but anyway, and there's all kinds of different things, but hypnosis is a very good tool to help you get yourself unstuck.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
That's all the time I have for today.
Okay.
Just realize it's all in the language and the language patterns and how you frame things. And a lot of people don't realize that they're stuck. So if you're not happy with the results that you're getting and not knowing how to get to the next spot, NLP practitioner or hypnosis would probably be a good way to help you ask, if anything, to help you ask better questions for whatever current state you're in. Something like that. Anyway, I gotta go set up a show.